I'm going to start recording and then we'll get this show on the road. Okay, good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, 6:30 p.m., and this is a meeting of the Bolton Advisory Committee. Right, we're continuing our review of the FY27 budget. And first up on the agenda tonight, we have Chris Rogers for the Board of Health.
All right.
Chris, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure. I am going to share the budget spreadsheet so everybody can see what we're looking at. Let's see. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yep.
Okay, so first up is the landfill line 439, good old well monitoring.
Yep.
And here we are again. Okay.
Exactly.
Go
And
ahead.
well, hopefully both will, the sincere hope is that we get through this year and that for next year's budget, we're on track for no additional requests for fees or unpleasant visits with you guys. So budgeted $42,000. That is basically for 2 rounds of DEP mandated testing that now includes some new toxins and then more critically PFAS to make sure that there's nothing coming out of that property that may impact those living around it.
Have we found anything?
Trace amounts.
Okay.
Trace amounts. Yeah, I mean, nothing that I mean, let's put it this way. To be honest with you, less than you might think, being that it is a capped landfill. But yeah, there are some trace amounts. We're talking about it right now. They don't meet DEP current standards, but there's chatter about taking the PFAS amounts, from 4 or 20 or 90 parts per trillion to 0. So that's something that's kind of in the works on the state and federal level.
Okay. Sorry, Bob, I went out of turn. Please continue.
No. Good questions. Anyone else on advisory have questions on this line? Chris, do you think you'll spend all 42,000 this year and in FY27?
I think we will spend it this year. Again, if you recall, the last number of times I've seen you guys, it has been with the desire to bring us into full compliance with DEP and their testing requirements, in the hopes that once we hit that metric, we can then pivot and ask them to, maybe let us go down to once a year instead of twice a year testing. So I would say that yes, we'll use this for this particular fiscal year, but my hope is that for the next fiscal year, I'll be coming to you to say that we've come to an agreement where, a single test annually will be sufficient.
Okay, but you'd like to budget 42,000 in case that doesn't happen.
I would for this year, yeah. Because again, my expectation is that, again, this last year, if you recall, was kind of a rocky road, and this year is turning out to be a little bit of a one as well. Because I think you've been given the heads up. I'll be coming back to see you guys around the time of the second round of testing, because we did have to put a new well in, which went in just last week, for the sampling. So my hope is that when we get into the next fiscal year, That's all squared away. We are doing 2 rounds of testing, which, are estimated at approximately 21,000 a round,
Mhm.
which gives us the 42,000. And they could go up or down a little bit. Last round of testing came in a little bit under the 21,000, which was nice. But a lot of it is
Yeah.
depending upon what laboratory we're going to. So we do shop the labs out. We'll go out to as many as 3 if possible, to again reduce the cost in any way we can.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions for Chris on well monitoring? If not, is there a motion to approve the landfill budget for 42,000?
I'll make a motion to approve the landfill budget of 42,000.
A second.
Okay, roll call. Don,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Next up, 510, Board of Health. Okay, Chris, can you just quickly walk us through?
Sure. So wages animal inspector, that is our town animal inspector who, gets the call if there's a dog missing, a dog bite. Also responsible for, maintaining what's called the barn book. So that's Phyllis, that's who that is. And then wages, that is for our admin in the building, who is, and again, you're going to see the increase, I believe, from 25 to 26 because she needed more hours. So that's who that is, Lisa.
So actually, Chris, so it's a decrease for 27, right? From
Yes,
26.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm looking at budgeted 26. So yeah, so that actually it went down, it went back up a little bit, but it is still under the full hours of
I think it's the rate of pay that's the difference.
and fewer hours. Is that true? No, same number of hours. Yes.
I believe so.
Okay. Well, listen, it's a savings. I'll take it. Where it comes from. So that's who that is. Again, we've been an animal inspector, and then if you want to go down to rabies testing, just a number we carry annually. As you can see, we don't usually use the full amount, but it's such a small amount, we keep it. That is in the event somebody finds a bat in their house or something, we will test it to make sure it's not rabid. Let's see, Neshoba Associated Boards of Health is on there for 29. Again, another pretty substantial increase, but they're trying to maintain their services we get from them, and this is kind of a reflection on what's happening in the world, I think. Not, no one's ever happy about rates going up, but again, I'm happy we have them because they're still I think there's still a bargain for the services we get from them. Going to advertising, $100, travel, $831. That is basically the animal inspector's mileage. And then dues and membership, which we use occasionally or don't use, is if we opt to become a member of the Mass Association or the Mass Associated Boards of Health. So that is that. And then I think, nope, so that's that for that category for 510. Anybody have any questions on that?
Questions for Chris?
I assume the Neshoba allocation is like Bill Brookings and his team.
Yeah, it's Bill Brookings, it's Bridget Braley, the food inspector. It's the entire office that provide the services. And like I said, it's not great to see that number go up. But if anybody's familiar with the town of Littleton, they opted to leave Neshoba, and it's gone disastrously and cost them substantially more money than keeping the services that these guys provide.
Okay. Yeah,
And Chris, just to explain that a little further. So these are requirements for the town, and we've gone to sort of this regional model as a cost savings measure.
Yep,
And so now it comes to us as an assessment, and we just
correct.
Yep.
And they've, again, part of the problem here, and again, I'm not a money person or a numbers person, but one of my grievances with Neshoba is that they've historically underassessed us for the services we get. They've been a little over, they've tried too hard to keep it too close to the wire, and now they're kind of in a situation where they need to raise their assessments to us to keep the services. They're not happy about it either, but again, it would cost us a lot more money to essentially take a group which would equal 4 different people doing the work to get it done. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, but the total Board of Health budget is actually a decrease of $3,000 from last year.
Yeah.
Well, so thus far, just it's an increase from, to 29 from 22 for the Neshoba piece.
Right.
But if I see
The total budget
Right.
for your Board of Health.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. That's a good news story. Okay. Any other questions for Chris on the Board of Health budget? If not, is there a motion to approve the Board of Health budget for $67,835?
I'll make a motion to approve the Board of Health budget for $67,835.
Okay, roll call. Don,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. And then 522 nursing.
And again, Neshoba provided service. Again, their assessments have gone up across the 14 towns, and consequently have gone up to us as well.
And Chris, is this another example of a requirement for the town to have some nursing services on call?
Yes. Well, and again, I'm not sure if it's a requirement. It's a service they provide. The town nurses in town at least 1 day a week, if not more, and then on call, and then also very, critical for flu clinics and things that we run for the town. So
Yeah, like this is for giving out flu shots in October-ish kind of.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're just an amazing asset to have. If we have somebody in town who needs help, and the Board of Health gets involved, we typically pivot right to Neshoba Nursing to get into the house to make sure that everything's okay and help us do what we can to square it away.
Okay. Questions for Chris on the nursing budget? If not, is there a motion to approve the nursing budget for $13,699?
I'll make a motion to approve the nursing budget for $13,699.
Second.
Roll call. Don,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay, Chris.
All
I think
right.
that's for you. Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, let me see. Has Lisa joined us yet? We're ahead of schedule. Okay. No Lisa, but I noticed that our interim police chief is here, so maybe we'll just jump to the police budget. All right. And this is interim chief Kim Berry. Hello, how are you?
Hi, good evening. I'm doing well. How are you?
Great, doing great. Do you mind if I just call you Chief Berry? I think saying interim Chief Berry is going to be
Absolutely, please. That is absolutely fine. Yes.
okay. Great, awesome. So I don't know if you're familiar with the process we go through every year, but I mean you just saw it with Chris Rogers, but we the advisory committee goes through a review of all the lines in the budget, and we'll ask a few questions here and there about some items, and then in the end we'll we'll vote to approve or not.
Sure. I have tried to familiarize myself with the process before tonight.
Okay, good, good. All right, so we're starting with 210, which is the main police budget. And if you'd like, you could just quickly talk through some of these. Generally, we put the most attention on areas where there are big changes from previous years.
Sure. I can certainly do that.
Okay.
So as far as the salary and wages, they are contractual. Do you want me to state any further on that?
No, I think I quickly looked through your wages worksheet. I think there was a slight increase in your expected overtime, but other than that, it's just basic grades and those sorts of things.
Okay. Yes, and the overtime budget was actually a slight, yes, it was a slight increase. So the disability insurance is part of the chief's contract. The hired services, you will see that it is level funded. We are requesting a level funded. However, we had the FY25 was significantly higher than normal years, but that is because we had a high turnover of employees. So we had to pay for the services in order to get those folks onboarded.
Okay.
The training budget, we have also kept it as a level funding from this fiscal year to next. The lockup, which consists of a contract that we have with Rennie Services. They come out quarterly and they do maintenance to the cells, and they also do some cleaning of the cells. This is for purchases of things in the lockup. We have requested for level funding of that as well. You will see that in FY25, it was a lot less, but I'm sure it's well known to everybody of the water issue that we've experienced in the public safety building as well as the library, and that's affected our lockup as well.
Okay.
So the office supplies, again, requesting the same amount as we did in this current budget for next year's budget. And the firearm supplies, you will see that we are actually requesting a lower number. And I would like to explain why that is.
Okay.
So we have received some donations from other departments for some of our taser supplies, which are actually quite costly. And we have another round of donations coming. So with that, we would like to request to move some of that money, specifically $2,965, into the dues and subscriptions line to help cover the cost for a new program that I would like to present to you, which is called DTS. It's a detail tracking system.
Okay.
Okay, so the next line is the uniforms, and that's the uniform allowance, and that is a contractual amount as well. The line after that would be out-of-state travel, and that's for the chief to attend an International Chiefs Conference. After that would be the dues and subscriptions, and this is where I'd like to discuss that new DTS program. So currently, our officers spend sometimes hours. They're filling shifts, they're filling details. They come in, the details can come in one right after another. They can come in sporadic. They come in through the officer's email. And once they recognize that an email has come through, they have to respond to the station, log into the system, fill that detail by entering all the information, calling all the officers, waiting for callbacks before they move on, sometimes sending text messages, and the same happens when we have open shifts. It's very time consuming and it takes people off of the road in order to do that. This system will allow for any officer to be able to input whatever is available. If it's a detail that comes in your roadside and you're not able to come to the station, or somebody calls out sick, so you have to try to fill that next shift, but you're tied up on a call, you can put the information into this app, into the system. It will send notification to every officer. You can put a timestamp as far as when they need to respond. So if they decide it's going to be 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 1 hour, that timestamp, as soon as, actually, let me back up for a minute. Once that's sent out, the officers who have an interest in working that detail can respond. If they don't respond, they just get ignored. However, the ones that are interested, the system will categorize by seniority and by hours, which is the way we currently fill our shifts and our details. It'll categorize everything and it'll assign it to the proper person once that window is closed. So the officers will be able to remain out on the road. They won't have to respond into the station in order to continue to try to fill these and make multiple calls, sometimes one after another, because you may finish with one particular filling of a shift or a detail, and then something else opens up almost immediately afterwards. And this can continue for hours, and it is very time consuming. So this is why we are requesting this system.
Okay. Chief Barry, do you know of other communities that have used this, and is it working for them?
I do know of other communities that are using it. Some of our local departments as well in the area use it and they love it. They find it a lot easier in order to be able to, manage their shift filling and detail filling.
Mhm.
I assume, Chief, this would be an ongoing expenditure of approximately 3,800?
Yes, that is correct. It would be ongoing.
Another question, if you don't mind, how are we doing on head count and stuff? Are we full? Are we hiring, or where are we?
Okay, so currently, besides obviously being down the chief of police, we have one officer that's currently deployed, and he is out of the rotation for some time. But outside of that, we are fully staffed with our full-time officers.
Good.
Okay. All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
We'll come back to that.
So the next line is bulletproof vests. Again, you will see we're requesting the same as we have in this current fiscal year. Then we go on to cruiser repair, and we are requesting the same amount again as we have for this current fiscal year. Then the supplies for the cruiser, again requesting the same amount as this current fiscal year, as well as the gas for the cruisers and the tire budget for the cruisers. And then we are also requesting a slight increase in the equipment for cruisers. And Lorraine is very well knowledged in this area. And she is going to touch on this because initially this equipment was funded with ARPA money. And there was a 5-year plan that was approved each fiscal year to be funded through the budget, but she has a firm background on this, so I'm going to ask for her to discuss it.
Absolutely. You ready?
Sure.
Um,
Go ahead, Lorraine.
Pertaining primarily when you look at fiscal year 25, there was even though we were budgeted for the increase, let me just look here at the budget. I can't fully see it on my screen here as it's presented. Okay, equipment. Okay, we were budgeted for equipment in fiscal year 25 for $25,926. Within
Mhm.
that fiscal year, we were able to, the Board of Selectmen allowed us 25,000 in ARPA money, and that was the onset of this new camera program. The body worn cameras, it's primarily for it's our video archive where we were. Prior to that, we were primarily just a desktop server, but it has grown in its capacity of data that we needed to do a cloud base. And with that cloud-based program, it's a 5-year plan. So the first year, 2025, was covered under the ARPA versus tapping into that equipment line item. So our current fiscal year 26, which is requested, it was at 25,926,
Mhm.
which we're going to spend that out as budgeted. And the new fiscal year coming forward is I had a slight increase in the cost of mobile data terminals, which are those the terminals that are inside the cruiser that the officers work from, and connecting to all of our network, and so forth. So that's where that slight increase is. And other than that, I don't know if you have a specific question further in regards to the equipment. I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Sure.
My understanding in the past was the equipment line was the equipment that went into the cruiser to make it a cruiser. But are you saying now that the body cameras are captured under there as well?
Yes. With that 5-year plan that we started, originally we began asking as a capital plan in fiscal
Mhm.
year 25, and then the ARPA money was there.
Right.
And yes, and that's where we began, knowing that moving forward, we would absorb it into our budget. And that's why you see it starting in 25 and currently in 2026.
And is that just the service to maintain all the data and
Yes, it's very sophisticated. This data now versus us, we couldn't support the large structure of the data that we need to archive, and now we are able to utilize with the cloud base all of the discovery that's requested through the DA's office. Anything pertaining to courts can now be emailed
Mhm.
through the cloud. So it's very important for us to actually maintain the data we need to maintain, and keep it archived, and also to send it where it needs to go upon request for other agencies that require it moving
Right.
that information.
Okay. All right, great. Well, Lorraine and Chief Barry, thanks very much for running through all
Absolutely.
those
Thank you.
details. And I actually like the idea of that DTS program that Chief Barry that you were mentioning. It sounds like it's a big help to efficiency.
It certainly is.
Okay, does anyone have questions for Chief Barry or Lorraine?
No.
I'll also note that the total police department budget is, you're only projecting an increase of 0.5%.
Right.
Okay, if there are no questions, is there a motion to approve the police department budget for $1,818,597?
I'll make a motion to approve the police budget for 597.
Well, 1,008.
Yes,
18,597.
1,818,597. Sorry.
Second.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
The 674 that's in the disability line under the wages, that's a holdover from Bumper's contract, so I don't know if you should get rid of it for FY27. I know it's not a lot of money, but we haven't used it since 2024.
Oh,
I wonder, Lorraine, could you possibly speak on that?
Well, again, when Chief Hamburger was with us, he did have in his contract the disability reimbursement, which however never was used. So moving into the next chief's contract, I don't know what that would entail. So that's your call at this point as to how you want to move forward.
Thank you. So I personally think where it's still unknown as far as what the chief's contract's going to look like going forward, that perhaps we do keep it in there. That's my request.
Marie or Kate, do you have any insight into whether it could show up in the next?
My belief is let's keep it in there. Future is unknown, but it could be a contract parameter.
I would agree with that as well.
Okay. All right, great. So there's a motion on the table that's been seconded. Okay, roll call. Don,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Excellent. Okay,
Thank you.
Chief Barry, I'm going to ask you to pause for a second, and I'm going to jump back to Parks and Rec so we don't keep Lisa waiting all evening. And I think Lisa Sheppel has joined us. Right?
Yeah,
Lisa,
I'm
are
here.
you here?
Yes, my budget is nothing. So
Okay, let's see. Where are you? Ah, okay. All right. I will jump down to the Parks and Rec line. Parks and Rec. Here we go. Okay. You want to quickly talk us through?
so that's my salary, which is staying the same. The wages for swimming, we had some left over well, actually this year because the summer we didn't have the swimming lessons, so we have some left over, but it normally wouldn't be left over. I think the year before we used all of it and went extra actually. The purchase and services we use for the porta potty and any other training. There might be a little left over for this year. And the electric might be, that stayed the same and might be a little bit over if the electric goes higher. And the equipment it stayed the same or went less. We just want to use that for any equipment that is not out of the program because the revolving is for the programs. So if we needed some equipment, we're planning on using that this year for a picnic table. We're getting a sunshade for Memorial Field, and we were gonna buy a couple picnic tables to go under there. And then the supplies are used. It basically say the same or a little bit less that we use for the holidays stuff. I think
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. Anyone have questions for Lisa? If there are no questions, is there a motion to approve the Parks and Rec budget for $81,378?
Make a motion to approve the Parks and Recs budget for $81,378.
Second.
Roll call, Don,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay, and then very quickly, Lisa, I think you have a capital request on the table somewhere.
Yeah, we were actually going to take that off. I think you had mentioned the pickleball courts. We're going to take that off and we're going to concentrate more on the Memorial Field playground. And I'm going to try to get a grant for that. I'm going to try to put in for this year, and we may need some money from our revolving to add to that. But so we're putting that aside.
Okay, well, that certainly makes it easy.
Yes.
Great. All right, I think we're good on Parks and Rec. Thank you very much.
Okay, I just have one question. I don't know if I should be directing to you. I forgot to ask Marie. So we're going to be looking to add another revolving fund because the one we have set up right now, we found out this year that that is for the parks use and not for the program use. Do I talk to you about this or Marie? Or,
I think that probably starts with Marie,
okay, all
and
right.
then I would imagine there's a process after that.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I didn't need to talk to you about it.
No, Marie,
Okay.
do I have that
It's
right?
me. It's me.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay,
Perfect.
okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
great. Thanks, Lisa.
Yep.
Okay. Chief Barry, back to you, and we are back up to the public safety building.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right, so in regards to the public safety building, I will defer to Lorraine as she monitors all of the accounts and she deals with all of the contracts.
Very good. So we'll start at the beginning and follow the line items of the budget. First, we have purchase of services. If you see there, there's a slight increase. Oh, I don't have a total dollar amount of that, but I apologize for that, but I can
No.
describe what I think it brought us up maybe another $804, possibly. I don't
Can
have my
you-
calculator in front of
Can
me.
you see my screen, Lorraine? It looks like
Is that correct?
it looks like you're asking for 92,613, which is an increase of
From the
1,200.
91, exactly. And I think
$1,500.
came out to maybe $854 thereabouts, but I do have a breakdown in front of me why. We had an increase in Comcast internet of $516. That's for the full year. And then I also had I had a slight decrease. I had a $161 decrease in our CJIS fees, which is our criminal justice contract with the state. And then I had, with our Office 360 email account, I had an increase of $124.24. So that is the reason for that increase. Everything else within the scope of that was pretty much the same. I didn't have any, bump ups of any contracts or any other fixed costs that I have throughout the public safety building. So that was pretty much the reason for that slight increase
Okay.
in that line item. So now we come down to the heating account. That's actually, you see, for the past 2 fiscal years, it's been substantially, not the heat, primarily the electric. So I'll go right to the heat. There was a slight bump there. We were actually, when you look at our actuals,
Mm-hmm.
in 2025, we were just slightly over from
Yeah.
what we budgeted for. So, with knowing that I was coming in, asking you your opinion or how you wanted to move forward with the utilities here at the public safety building, that's why I included the heat. When we come down to the electric, there's a substantial overdraft that we've experienced with the public safety building and the electric bill, which I think you're well aware of. However, that's why I requested that increase from 53,775, which we had level funded from fiscal year 25 to 26. And each fiscal year 25, you can see the actuals were 70,000. And then the bills themselves seem to be quite consistent with those numbers still at this time. So with that said, I didn't, this is your input as how you want to proceed with funding. That electric bill alone is
Yeah.
a concern.
Does anyone have a sense of what the negotiated rates are looking like?
The current negotiated supply rate, not the distribution, actually dropped as of December 1. We're all aware the public safety building has had incredibly high electric utilization, as had the library. In the interest of caution, I would keep it on par with what the actuals we've seen are. But my hope, given that there had been a replacement of the JACE board for the public safety building, I'm going to say last summer-ish, the thing that controls the HVAC, that hopefully we will not need it. But for now, the 70K mirroring the actual seems unfortunately conservative. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Lorraine, keep going.
Oh, absolutely. So, we're coming down to the next line item. Oh, pardon me. Let me just get my form out here. We're coming into our maintenance line item, and of course, that I requesting to level fund also.
Mhm.
And then as we come past maintenance, is our software support of, bear with me, just need to get my ruler out here. There was, I believe, yes, there's a slight increase there. And one of our, we have a social media archiving contract that we like to renew every year. And that holds a lot of data for us. That was a slight increase. My apologies. Here we go. That was on my backup sheet. Yes, there was a $220 increase in that line item for software support. So that's where you see the increase there. And trash disposal had just a very minor increase with it's a fixed monthly fee that we have, and I see the trash disposal went up just a very small amount to bring me on par with the budget. My apologies for that. I don't have that little dollar amount there
That's
on
okay.
my backup here that I've prepared for tonight's meeting. So,
Lorena, looks like that was a $2 increase.
$2. Yes, I'm looking at it closer. So, and then the telephone account, which that is an increase, and that's due to where we've requested we need to replace our phone system here through a capital expenditure. And Marie can answer any specific questions on that also, which has been presented. What I've included in our telephone budget is the monthly fee for the TPX system that will continually pay. It's separate from the capital, which is just for the equipment and the installation. That's a one-time shot that is currently being presented for fiscal year 27. What we're discussing only affects the telephone system monthly fee that we have to pay for the TPX system, for the maintenance, all of
Mhm.
the coming and going of all the data and back and forth with the telephone network. So that's where you're going to see an increase in the telephone. Everything else is level funded supplies for the public safety building. When I say supplies, it's not toilet paper and paper towels. We have different. I have to buy. We don't have bubblers here. I have to buy bottled water. We have dispensers. We might have small purchases because we have a unified kitchen for the entire building. That would be the fire, EMS, and police. And there are some components in there where we need to keep plastic utility like spoons and forks and things of that nature, and so forth stocked. And lastly is the diesel. And the diesel is primarily what we describe. Diesel and propane is our big generator here, our backup generator. And then we have two generators at the towers, one on West Berlin and one on Forbush Mill, which are powered by propane. And those are on a need by use basis. So that line item is something we began with, when the building opened. And we just need that in the event we need to refill those. And it's only based on demand for that. So it's not something we actually spend out every year.
Mhm.
And that is pretty much it
Okay.
on that. If you had specific questions.
All right.
We
I
were
had
then-
a couple.
Yeah, Bob or Lorraine. I mean,
Sure.
the electricity at request at
Mhm.
70,570. I think that's an appropriate amount. That feels good. I'm trying to go back in history. Why would we have been okay to drop electricity budgeting by almost $17,000? I feel like something happened last year, and I'm just trying to remember what that was.
Well, in fiscal year 25, when we came into fiscal year 26, we were asked to level fund. We had the stabilization concerns within the town government at the time. And, you know, we were just asked to please be conscious of that and moving forward based upon the unknowns coming into town meeting. So, of course, you have to remember we're budgeting or setting our budget like November. So a lot of these concerns were coming thereafter. So I did not request any increase for fiscal year 26, primarily for that. We were just being very conservative at the time. So
Okay. All right.
pretty much.
That makes sense. Although, I mean, if we were level funding from 25 to 26, even though
Mhm.
actuals were way higher, I'm just trying to understand why it feels like we have perpetually been underfunding electricity.
Well, that is true. And I think you know, I can't answer for advisory at the time of those meetings we had, especially back in 2024, when we were actually talking in 2023, based upon we're being told that there's possible increases coming. It was the advice of advisory at the time to level fund. And that's where we're at today.
Okay.
Yeah, Greg, I don't recall how we got to that either. But
No.
yeah.
If I may, the electricity for December year to date right now is 37,000 that they've spent. So it certainly seems like, you know, the budget of 54 that we had may actually be low.
Mhm.
I'm looking at the latest expenditure
Yeah.
Yeah.
report, and that could be. So that may be a little low, but on the flip side of that, it looks like maintenance we've spent so far about $2,000-3,000 on a $40,000 budget. So that may have gone the other way. I'm looking at maintenance now, and that took a big jump.
Not necessarily. Maintenance itself, like last year about my maintenance, we kind of held back on some projects that we had planned within that based upon the overdraft within the electric bill. We're just being conservative. And again, of course, we were asked to be that way with the unknowns coming into town meeting. So with that said, you know, I do use that maintenance money. In that
Okay.
maintenance money are a lot of preventive maintenance programs that we have attached to our technologies here. I have funding in there for our security system. I have preventive maintenance for our towers. We have the 2 towers plus all of our radio devices. The list goes on. We
Sure.
also,
I just want to confirm, Lorraine, that you're going to basically spend the whole
I
year
will
budget
I
in
will
that.
spend out that budget. Absolutely. So I just wanted to give you a little background because I think, Dawn, I think this is your first year with advisory.
No.
No, see, I apologize for that. I was just trying to
Alright.
place your,
No
yes, your
worries.
face. Yes.
I had the same question where, you know, we spent in the past roughly around 20 to 25,000, other than 2024, which was a little high, but even then it was only 37,000. But
One
you
thing
know,
to remember in the maintenance line item, I might have bills, which I do encumber. And, you know, with the accounting office that, you know, I might have bills that have yet to come in. And so you're not going to see that encumbrance because that's going to occur after we close the fiscal year. So I do have those primarily with the public safety building. It is the maintenance is what I'm trying to catch up on at the once June 30th hits.
I see.
yeah, I mean, we all agree the maintenance is important. I think we're just
Mhm.
want to
Right.
make sure we're not over budgeting this. So, I mean, we can
No.
see how it goes this year, but if we have another year where it lands at around 20,000 or something,
Okay.
I think
Understood.
probably take a
Mhm.
hard look at reducing that.
Okay.
Okay. Lorraine, I wanted to ask a little bit about the telephone system. So maybe we should bring it up now before we vote on this budget line. But
Okay.
one of the capital requests was for something to do with a new telephone system. Maybe you could describe that a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. this is something that, you know, our current phone system, it's end of life is this year, December 26, and meaning that it's no longer going to be supported, no more updates, nothing. So this is coming out of Devon's, meaning that all of the departments within this circle, this family of dispatch, we technically are the last onboarding. We opted not to do it last fiscal year because we were being conservative with preparing for town meeting and so forth. So that's why we're seeing it in this fiscal year. And that phone, the recommendation in all the quoting is coming out of Ann Camaro, who's the director out at the Neshoba Regional Dispatch District. And primarily with the capital planning, the phones are they're running in at $7,091. That's all the desk sets, every phone that hangs on every wall throughout the whole building. It's not just the police, it's the fire and EMS. And within that, the capital planning, I still have to have our vendor engineers on site, which is not, our current vendor, who is Valley Communication. They do all our monitoring and updates and so forth. I need them on site when we transition the technologies, because I need those engineers. And so there's an $1,100 fee there. And then I do have one particular phone that needs to be cabled separately. And that came in at another $1,100. So with that said, my capital request was $9,353. So that's being separate from the phone system. We have to pay annually. Once it's installed, there is a TPX fee to maintain the system. It's a monthly charge. And
Right.
that's where you see that dollar amount within the public safety building telephone account, is to cover that expense.
So the 9,000 or so is to the one-time cost to purchase.
That's the
phones.
technology placement.
Right.
It's
But
done.
then-
And then the other is just the monthly fees.
Right, which is
The-
$2,000 a month? for
No,
telephone
no,
services?
no, it isn't. I went up, bear with me. Where is my telephone? The TPX system is for the monthly fees. It's $8,520. And that is,
Okay, so how
yes,
the total
ahead.
budget line though is 25,476 for phones?
Yes, yes. For the telephone. That is correct. And typically my phone budget, which is, it went up a little bit in 2025 as I replaced some tablets for the fire department, fire trucks and the ambulances. So that went up a little bit on the equipment side there on the phone. But the increases due that I'm asking for is for that, the phone system.
Right, I
monthly
guess what I'm
payments.
wondering then is what's the rest of it going to? If we're paying, we bought the
Oh,
phone.
you want to so you're looking at the breakdown of the phone budget. Is that what you're asking me on top of this?
Not necessarily every detail of
Okay.
the budget, but like
Oh,
in
okay.
general, what's costing us
Absolutely.
$25,000?
Oh, sure. Understood. What we have here for the phone system, you have to remember it's I have the phone system are all the phone line, we run on what we call SIM cards and through Verizon. And that has to do, we have to have SIM cards in all of our MDTs, which is in all of our cruisers. We also, the fire department, they have tablets and they require SIM cards. And then I have cell phones that are distributed through the rank that are required to have that cell phone also. So that's my monthly budget is for those specific devices that I get a bill from Verizon every month for all those pieces of equipment. And also with that, I have a fire panel here, and I also have an elevator. So the fire panel and the elevator are hard copper lines, and they're also through Verizon, but a separate, from the SIM, from the wireless networks that we use. And those are monthly fees that I have to maintain. And lastly, within the circle of what we're talking about, the remaining copper lines that are still active here, those old landlines, we have an emergency, we have our business line 2276 and 3325 and 3326 and 2203, which is the fire department. Those ring in the event that the phone system goes down, and we have no connection, we have that hard line that's still going to connect through into the building. So that is a monthly fee that we pay to. So that's the nuts and bolts of what we've been budgeting ongoing and adding now. It's bringing us up into 25,000 is the new charges I described. Yeah.
And the capital request for the $9,000 for new phones, those are for landline phones?
It will take only the emergency backup phones, but I still have a fire panel and I still have, which is very important. Those are very important pieces of equipment here, and the elevator or the emergency lines. Those are separate. So we will continue to maintain those. You might see it. I don't really know how those other copper lines that are going to yet to be absorbed into this new TPX that's connecting. And that was only the backup to, in the event the phone system fails, we still need to have some kind of a backup connection, if we lost everything here.
Okay, but the capital request this year for phones, those are for landline phones that sit on desks?
No, sir. They're all the voiceover, they're all voiceover IP phones, that technology. It's not the, hard copper line. It's updating the current system, which is a VoIP system, the voice over IP system. So.
Right. No, I understand, but
Yes,
they're not
sir.
cell phones. You're not replacing cell phones. You're replacing physical phones that sit on.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Lorraine, could you
Yes.
explain something to me? And this is probably, I'm confused about it,
Okay.
but you said you had a fire panel, is that correct?
Yes.
In the police station?
Yes, we do. A fire panel is this, you can't open a commercial building without one. That's all the fire alarm systems for the building and everything comes in.
Right.
Yes.
No, I understand. I'm just, and excuse my ignorance, but
Oh,
why
no.
would you need a fire panel if your neighbors are the fire department?
I'm sorry?
If just on the other side of the wall is the fire department, right?
No, well, that this is all phone line based. So the fire, I'm not the fire chief. So in all the machinations of how that thing works, I know where it is, and we have to maintain it every month. And
Okay.
but it is an important piece. Yes. Sorry about that.
I trust both chiefs, and so it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Other questions for Lorraine or Chief Barry? If not, is there a motion to approve the public safety building budget for $265,922?
I'll make a motion to approve the public safety building budget of $265,922.
Second.
Roll call. Don?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Okay, next line is our dispatchers. Regional dispatch. 209,000. I believe this is an assessment to us.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So it's an assessment that was sent over from the director of Neshoba Valley Regional Dispatch of the 209,000. So it is actually less than the previous year.
Yeah, mark the calendar, Bob.
How often does that happen?
I know.
That's great.
Well, I can answer that. And I know that in fiscal year 26, it was estimated what they were anticipating. So when Ian came back with this update, the assessment is lower. In fact, fiscal year 26, we budgeted 215,553, and we've actually only paid 207,000. So that will not be spent. It will be there until we close out the year. So
Okay.
that's coming in line close to what she's asking for so you're going from 207,000 to 209,000.
Okay.
Just as an aside, the budget has not been voted on by the finance board.
Okay.
We meet next week, I believe. So I don't know if you want to wait until it's actually voted on.
Oh,
For the regional dispatch?
Yeah, I'm on the finance board and the finance board has to approve it before.
Okay.
oh,
I mean, I'm sure
Um,
we will, but
what are the chances it comes in more than 209,000?
unlikely.
Unlikely. Okay. All right. Let's vote. If it comes in above
Yeah.
that, we'll vote again. Okay. Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the regional dispatch budget for 209,000?
I'll make a motion to approve the regional dispatch budget of 209,000.
Second.
Roll call, Don,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. And finally, let's see, emergency management, townwide emergency notification. I think this is also just a service we pay for.
So that's our Code Red service, which can send out important notifications to those who do sign up for that. I know former Chief Hamburger was going to be reviewing this in this current fiscal year. That was my understanding, just to see if it's something that's necessary going forward. There was a discussion about upgrading the format or keeping it the same. But our request is that the police chief going forward will be able to determine how they want to proceed, but we'd like to keep it the same for FY27 for now.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Anyone have questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the emergency management budget for 3,900?
I'll make a motion to approve the emergency management budget for $3,900.
Second.
Roll call, Don,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm also an aye. Okay, excellent. Chief Barry, Lorraine, thank you very much for all the details. We've already talked through your capital request, so I think we're good there too.
Great.
Very nice. Thank you, sir.
Alright.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
for your time.
Great,
Have a
thank
great
you.
evening.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, we're up to any capital discussions from Marie. Any updates, Marie? I was planning on having a broader discussion of capital maybe next week, but is there anything?
Sure.
Bring to our
The
attention?
questions that were raised had been sent to the superintendent and assistant superintendent, as well as CCing the school committee rep who's been with us. They had said that they would be working on answers. I don't have the revised estimate yet for DPW Houghton painting, nor for the transfer station cameras. Tonight, most likely, the Conservation Commission is going to say that Rebecca should pursue the Mass Trails Grant. So we spoke about that. You remember that 75,000?
Hours.
So for Bowers, their recommendation, I believe, will be that we should advance this. It's a reimbursable grant, but they're feeling confident, and it's likely that we would only be required to pay approximately $16K as a match. And that's all I have for now. Still, I sent something to Randy asking again today, do you have the estimates? He does not yet have the estimates for all weeding. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. And we'll have more discussions on capital stuff over the next month or so. Okay. Advisory committee business. Two things I wanted to mention or throw out there. The first, Marie, I mentioned this to you and to the select board. I think I mentioned it to you, but I just wanted to put it out here in a meeting about the discussion about moving forward for the water purification system and some of the options. We had already, the advisory committee had transferred 50,000, 51,000 or something. There was a request to transfer another 70, which we voted down. In the interest, though, of trying to avoid a special town meeting in advance of the annual town meeting, a suggestion thrown out on the table was, use some funds from the local improvements, which we have discussed before, has historically been underspent. And even if Randy needs the full amount this year, probably would not be completely used until prior to town meeting. So there might be some funding we could leverage there. And then I suggested that advisory might be willing to transfer 35,000 of our remaining 70,000 or so, just to get us to annual town meeting. At which point we could transfer additional funds back to the reserve fund if we need to do that to replenish it. So I don't know how the rest of advisory feels about that, but I just wanted to kind of throw it out there as an option. And the thinking is to, we just really need to get to early May. And then we can have a warrant article to reallocate free cash and some other funds.
Yeah. I'm good with that if Nanachka's good with that. She knows all the rules and regs and ins and outs.
I mean, it's fine. I don't like it, but it's fine. Not my call.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's nothing to decide here. I just wanted to mention it in front of the whole advisory committee. So just let people know what I had been thinking and put it on the table as an option.
And Bob, the select board does have an item on the agenda this week to discuss a potential warrant. And I suspect that this will probably be part of the discussion then as well.
Okay. Great. Excellent. Okay. The other item I wanted to mention, let's see, you'll recall last year we had a number of budget information sessions leading up to the annual town meeting, specifically because we knew we were heading into an override situation and we wanted to make sure as much information as possible got out there. We're not in the same position this year, but it still might be helpful for some folks to have some sort of an information session just to let people ask questions about the budget and folks can answer questions. So what is the feeling about maybe offering a budget information session again this year, just to invite people to ask questions? I know we have other forums for them to do that, but maybe we need one more. Thoughts? Is it worthwhile?
I think what I heard, Bob, just talking to folks that I talked to, thought that the information sessions were very well received. Now, obviously, as you stated, we had a very specific set of information to communicate regarding the override, but I think the process of information sharing for those who really do want to know more or just have a chance to ask questions is not a bad idea. It is extra time for us, but I felt the folks who did attend got a lot out of it.
Yeah. One of the forums for exchanging information in the town, as some people might know, is the Facebook page, which unfortunately is full of all sorts of misinformation and misconceptions and whatever we can do, I think, to clear some of that up for folks who have questions, I think could be helpful.
my 2 cents for what it's worth is I think that the town is expecting these sessions going forward based on what we talked about last year when we did the override sessions. In my mind, arguably, it might be more important to do it this year now that people have those tax bills in hand and are scrutinizing things in a slightly different way than they were when it was a theoretical override.
Right.
So, I think, it's a great opportunity for people to, not have to watch every single advisory meeting to get the details, but just sort of have it in a digestible, presented format that they can then ask questions about. So,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we could, this is probably like an April sort of thing. So we have some time to think about it and think about dates and formats and that sort of
and I nominate Brian to do the presentations.
thing. Okay. All right. Let's see. We have a few sets of minutes to approve. So I will
Yep.
share those.
Bob, as you're bringing those up, I I went back and relooked at them. And with Jenny's help, I have now the YouTube URL links to the full meetings. I didn't have that at the time, so you'll see in the call to order section, there's a little bit of a fill in the blank. The entire meeting can be viewed by going to blank. I can fill those in now. I'll just send them to the entire team afterwards. But I feel like we can move forward and approve them, assuming everyone is okay with them, with me adding the URL afterwards.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I think we can approve them pending the addition of the URL. Okay, so there's one set from October. Unless anyone has objections, I thought we could vote on all three as one packet here.
Sure.
This is October. Any concerns with this one?
No,
All right. Let's see here. Here is, I think this one is November. November? Everyone okay with that one? Then this is January 7th. Okay. If there are no questions or corrections, is there a motion to approve meeting minutes from October, November, and January 7th, pending the additions of the URLs?
make a motion. I don't know if I'll remember all that, but I'll make a motion to approve the October, November, January minutes, subject to the addition of the YouTube URL. Is that right?
Yeah, you got it. Good, excellent.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Don,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay, does anyone have anything else? Nothing else. Okay, if that's it, is there a motion to it? Oh, meeting next week, regular meeting Tuesday next week. I'll send out the details later in the week.
Okay.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Great, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, great. Good night, everyone.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Good night.